I made a kettle with my own hands. It could be loaded with bullets and could even kill birds. As a result, I was taken to the police station for interrogation that very day. The next day, I drew Baoyu Liwa Jen, and the police took me there again. On the third day, I thought I would just draw. But the dollar I drew even tricked the currency scanning machine, and I landed in custody again. After 3 in-and-out visits, my reputation spread far and wide. The army declared the strong rope I made as special equipment, inkyam. The Academy of Agricultural Sciences mistook the fishing tackle for carbon fiber, and even the head of the beast costume I had so painstakingly crafted was declared a war equipment by the army. Ultimately, I had to surrender everything to the country. In the interrogation room, I sat with my head bowed before Captain Liz Yanbing. I explained that I was just a craft blogger and made things based on viewer request, but Liz Yanbing was unconvinced. Even after 4 hours of interrogation, they found nothing against me. Eventually, they released me but warned me not to make weapons-like objects on live streams. My Gatling machine was also kept at the police station, leaving me with a sad face. By the time I got home, it was night. I opened my phone and found a flood of messages. People were asking if I'd gotten out. I thought there were still good people in the world, but the next moment I saw the video of the police taking me away. The caption was shocking. This craft blogger turned out to be a criminal with over 500 likes. I took a deep breath. I had already taken 8,000 yuan from the top donor, and the Gatling machine was now in the hands of the police. After much thought, an idea came to my mind. Why not make a paper Gatling machine for him? The next morning, I went to the village supermarket to buy craft paper. There, I met Liu Shen, who expressed his concern. After a short conversation, I took the supplies and returned home and got to work. I opened the drill machine, removed its parts, fitted the trigger, connected the wires, installed the handle and magazine. Then I painted the entire model black. In no time, a paper catalog was ready. I sent photos of it to the top donor. Upon seeing the photos, he was delighted and said, "It looks no less beautiful than yesterday, so send it quickly in case it gets confiscated." I immediately couriered the video, edited the video, and uploaded it. At the same time, at the police station, young officer Zhou Xiaofeng was watching my new video. He had seen the Gatling in my live stream yesterday and had been keeping an eye on my account ever since. As soon as he saw the new video, he approached Captain Li. But Liz Yanbing, after watching the video, said, "Let me do it as long as I wasn't making real things." In reality, Liz Yanbing was in serious trouble. A robbery had taken place in his area, and the victim was a key researcher at the Aerospace Institute. Pressure was mounting, and a special investigation team had arrived. If the culprits weren't caught within a week, his career could be in danger. Meanwhile, evening fell. The video was well received today, so I started live streaming again. Remembering Captain Li's warning, I told the audience I wouldn't make Gatling-like things anymore. So today, I would make a Bao Lihua Zhen with my own hands. The live stream erupted in uproar. Some called it something out of novels, others called me crazy, while others expressed confidence in my skills. I smiled. I placed the pre-prepared iron plates, copper plates, and pipes on the table. Then, looking into the camera, I said, "Ooh, we'll take a reference for this Bao Lihua Zhen. We'll use the design of a famous game as a reference." Hearing this, the livestream erupted in uproar. "Oh my god, the streamer is really doing it." I was stunned. "The head of Tangmen, please make me your disciple." Instantly, gift effects filled the entire screen. I smiled happily. "Boss, just a little support is enough." But then a loud knock echoed on the door. I walked towards the door, irritated. I'm coming. Don't bang so hard. The door will break." But as soon as the door opened, 2 policemen burst in and, without a word, pinned me to the wall. I was stunned. Zhou Xiang was standing in front. I'd warned him yesterday, and today he'd started making Bao Liu Zhen again. Did our words have no effect? I immediately began to explain. Captain Lai had said not to make firearms. I hadn't made any guns. Bo Xiufeng said sternly, "No weapons will do. Collect the evidence and come with us." This scene was playing live and the chat erupted again. Some were saying I was going in for the second time. Others were saying the police were specifically watching me, and some were joking that even the Tangmen chief had finally departed like this. I quickly ran to my phone and told my friends to wait for me to return. With that, I ended the live broadcast and quietly got into the police car. Upon reaching the police station, I repeatedly explained that my only intention was to create something interesting and gain new followers. I had no idea that even an imaginary weapon could be a problem. I said that yesterday Captain Li had simply said not to make guns. He hadn't mentioned this. Zhou Xiaofeng immediately retorted, "So you think it's our fault?" I nervously refused. Just then, an employee brought in the inspection report. Xiaofeng's face changed as soon as he saw it. In his eyes, this thing wasn't a toy, but a dangerous weapon with the power of a pistol. Now he even began to doubt the previous investigation. He asked me what I did before becoming a blogger. I told him the truth, saying I had just graduated and was only a student before that. But when he learned that I studied mechanical engineering, he became even more suspicious. He asked, "So why am I doing all this instead of working?" And then what? I had the opportunity to complain. I recounted the entire story of the recruitment process, the low salaries, the misleading advertisements, and the strange interview experience, and I was still talking when he finally stopped me. Zhao Xiaofeng said he understood, but this was his final warning. I'm not to touch such things again. I signed and, once again, left my creation there, leaving it behind. This meant my second creation had also been confiscated. Just then, Li Jinbing hurried back. Seeing me, he paused for a moment. You came yesterday. You came again today. Before I could respond, Zhou Zhanfeng explained the entire incident to him. After hearing everything, Li Jinbing simply said, quote, "Be careful in the future," and then hurriedly left. It was clear he was preoccupied with something serious. I didn't stay long either, returning home. I was a little disappointed, but on the other hand, it was also true that these events had made me quite popular. So I posted on social media that the next live stream would be on schedule, and then relaxed on the couch and started using my mobile phone. I had no idea that real trouble was approaching me. At the same time, a fierce chase was underway on the national highway, on the outskirts of the city. Several police vehicles were chasing an old van. The criminals in the van were desperately trying to escape, but the police were closing in. Finally, one of them took a risk and drove the vehicle into a nearby residential area. Then he abandoned the van and ran, crossing several streets, and finally he jumped inside a house. He had nowhere to run, so he decided to hide. Coincidentally, it was my house. The sound of police sirens blared outside. Then the criminal grabbed me and threatened me. Do what I say or I'll kill you. Tell the people outside not to come inside. Forced to do so, I complied. The policeman outside immediately stopped and urged him to surrender, but the criminal only laughed. In his eyes, surrender meant the end. He warned the police loudly, "I have a hostage. Well, prepare a vehicle for me immediately, and let me escape safely. Otherwise, I would still be here outside." Li Jinbing's face was grim. He ordered his men to prepare the vehicle as per the criminal's demands, and also to take up sniper positions. Meanwhile, I was constantly thinking of a way to save myself. My survival was worth something right now. But if I got into that vehicle, everything would be at the criminal's mercy. A moment later, a voice from outside announced that the vehicle was ready. I looked at the criminal. His arm was still gripping my neck. As he pushed me towards the door, I seized his arm and struck him with all my strength, hitting him on the sensitive spot a lot. The pain loosened his grip. In no time, I twisted his wrist and completely subdued him. The policeman outside heard the screams and prepared to take action. But before they could, I'd already picked up my steel wire rope lying near the door. Within moments, the criminal was tied so tightly that he writhed on the ground like a worm. He angrily cursed me for breaking the rules, but I bluntly told him that a man who could take me hostage had no right to talk about honesty. Just then, several policemen burst through the wall. They were ready to confront the criminal, their weapons drawn, but the sight before them stopped them all. The criminal they had come to apprehend was already tied up on the ground. Just then, Li Jinbing opened the door and entered. I greeted him with a smile, and he breathed a sigh of relief. When they realized that I had single-handedly subdued and bound the criminal, they were also astonished. The criminal was being taken away in the car, but as he left, he threatened me, saying he would not spare me if I ever came out. I immediately complained to Li Jinbing that he was openly threatening her. Li Jinbing then asked me to accompany him to the police station. However, this time, not as a suspect, but as a witness, my statement was completed quickly. When Zhao Xiaofeng heard that I had subdued the criminal in one fell swoop, he couldn't help but laugh. I took the opportunity to ask him who this criminal was. It turned out he'd attacked a scientific researcher a few days earlier, and now there was no chance he'd be freed. I was just breathing a sigh of relief when a policeman came running and said the rope binding the criminal wouldn't come loose. I casually said, "If it won't, cut it." But the answer was that despite several attempts, the rope wouldn't cut. Then I remembered that this wasn't an ordinary rope, but a special steel wire rope I'd previously purchased for carrying goods. I'd even tied my own special strong knot on it. When I arrived at the interrogation room, Li Yanbing was struggling with the rope himself. Upon seeing me, he complained about how I'd found such a strong rope. I immediately rushed forward and in a matter of seconds untied the knot that everyone else hadn't been able to untie even together. I laughed and explained that it was a knot I'd made myself and that it wouldn't be easy for ordinary people to untie. Li Yanbing nodded and sent me home, warning me again to experiment less with my strange inventions. I went to sleep as soon as I got home, and the next afternoon, when I looked at my phone, I was astonished. Yesterday's video of Manhwa had surpassed 500,000 views. The feeling of going viral for the first time was truly unique. Then I suddenly remembered that rope, so I asked the system what it was. The answer stunned me. According to the system, it was an extremely strong and flexible rope that could be used to tie people, pull goods, and even hang people. This was why I sometimes found this system so suspicious. Out of curiosity, I bought another rope and examined it carefully. Only then did I realize that both its material and weaving were extraordinary. Yesterday, the police hadn't even been able to cut it with a knife. That meant it was truly something special. I decided I'd investigate it thoroughly later. I couldn't waste such good traffic right now, so I started the live stream again. As soon as the audience arrived, they started making fun of me. Suggested singing, some dancing, and some saying, if you can't make crafts, at least show me a drawing. And so began a new live stream.